Solving a rational equation with two solutions. Our first step is still to identify our LCD. So I'm looking for my LCD. What are my denominators in the first place? If I'm looking for the least common denominator, I need to identify all denominators. So in here, I want to rewrite the first term over 1. So one of my denominators is the number 1. The second denominator is x minus 5. And the third denominator is just x. So in order to have a least common denominator, every one of those must be accounted for. So that is, in itself, my least common denominator, x minus 5. The 1 doesn't really play much of a role in it because 1 is as simplified as you can get. Now, I've identified the LCD. The next step is to multiply each term by the LCD. So I have 3 spots where I need to multiply. So I have 1. I need to multiply that by x minus 5. I need to multiply 8, x minus 5 by x minus 5. And I need to multiply the 3 over x by x minus 5. Now what happens is, if you recall, we do our cross-canceling. There is no denominator to cross-cancel with the x minus 5, so all of that remains. But for the second term, the x minus 5s can cancel, and for the third term, the x's will cancel. So that gives me down below x minus 5 times 1. It gives me x times 8, or 8x. And over here it gives me 3 times x minus 5 left over. So now I have to simplify that line. So I'm going to do x times x minus 5. Distributing gives me x squared minus 5x minus 8x, that's staying. And now I have to distribute this one. It gives me 3x minus 15. So this is a quadratic. So I need to regroup and get everything in standard form over to the left side. So I'm going to move this term to the left, and I'm going to move this term to the left. As I change sides, I change my signs. That's going to give me x squared minus 5x minus 8x minus 3x and plus 15. As those two terms just came over to the other side, I changed their signs. Still regrouping. I want to put my like terms together, which are all in here. So I'm going to have x squared minus 16x plus 15 equals 0. Okay, so I now have the equation that needs to be solved. This equation is going to produce 2 possible solutions. It's a quadratic trinomial that I want to factor. We practiced this over the course of the semester. So at this point, we should remember that we want the numbers that we choose to multiply to 15, but add to the negative 16. So that means I'm going to need negative signs. And my numbers that multiply to 15 are 1 and 15. And 3 times 5. The ones that will add to negative 16 would be the negative 1 and negative 15. Okay, so that has now been factored, and now the zero product property tells me that x minus 1 equals 0, or x minus 15 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides, x equals 1, or add 15, and x equals 15. So I now have my two possible solutions. The only thing left is to go back and check if any of them, either of them, might present an extraneous solution. So when I go up, I'm going to check my original equation right here and check if putting a 1 in the place of x would cause a 0 in the denominator in any case. So if I were to do that, I would see 1 minus 5 here, giving me negative 4 in the denominator, and that would be a 1 in the denominator, so that one works. And then I would need to check if the 15 might produce a 0 in the denominator. And again, in my denominator, when I plug in 15 here, 15 minus 5 would give me 0. I'm sorry, it would give me 10. And 15 here would give me not 0. So I'm good, which means that the two solutions are not extraneous. And here are my solutions.